The President's also announced that indoor gatherings may now have a maximum of 250 people, while 500 people can gather outdoors at any given event. Our reporters are getting reaction to the President's address. Nqobile Madlala is in Johannesburg and Ronald Masinda is in Cape Town. They join us now. And good morning to you both, colleagues. Let's start with you, Nqobile Madlala. What's the reaction we're hearing from the ground, from where you stand?
Well, Dumelo, it's been a hard time for the hospitality industry, and that's why we are here to speak to the chef who, you guys have been going through a lot. I know that you lost your job during COVID. What does this mean for you when you hear the easing of the restrictions?
You know, the easing of restrictions, especially for level 2, now, that's an added extra hour. That means revenue. That means the waiters get more tips. That means the Uber drivers. So it's a whole chain reaction within the hospitality industry that's affected. And I feel that right now, this is going to be an extra bonus, considering that we're going to be opening up this restaurant in the next couple of days.
And it's been a hard time for you finding new employment after losing your job because of what was happening with regards to lockdown and the hospitality industry being hard hit. How did you feel? How did you bounce back?
So I was devastated, of course, but I bounced back, starting up my own little company called the Private Dining Experience, where it started being deliveries, ended up being cooking at people's houses, now expanded nationally and doing penthouse functions. And that's actually still running, where I just have a bunch of chefs that just operate that on the side. And also job creation for guys that lost their jobs within the hospitality industry.
Okay, so what does this mean now for this restaurant specifically?
So this means that we will be able to operate longer, of course. This means that we'll be able to make more revenue and also play catch-up, because now you have to think about your suppliers, your rentals, your debt, basically, that needs to be paid off. So I feel that added hour is going to be an extra bonus for us.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, Dumelo, briefly there you can hear from the chef himself. He says this is a bonus for the industry because a lot of them had lost their jobs. A lot of them also had been going through a lot. But he says from his end, he basically started a new company which helped them. But also they're also going to be opening up this restaurant, which is also good because though he lost his job, there is something good coming out of it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good news there we're seeing, for the restaurant industry. Let me move to Ronald Masinda now and hear what he's hearing on the ground. Ronald, any reaction you're hearing this morning upon the President's announcement last night?
Very good morning to you, Tumelo. You're coming to us live from Green Market Square. It is a place that is usually a hive of activity this time of the morning, with many tourists flocking here to buy all sorts of African sculptures as well as dresses that a lot of the people sell here. But what we are seeing at the moment is something that is really unusual here at Green Market Square. People or business owners only starting to set up a lot later than usual. They say that this is due to the lack of tourists who have come to Cape Town over the past few months since the lockdown. Many businesses have been hard hit. Many people here are saying that, they are struggling to make ends meet. They are struggling to pay rent. They are struggling to also just to have their businesses to become more profitable. And they say that this is also due to the lack of tourists. They say that a lot of the events that have been stopped, we've seen quite a number of events that have been cancelled, such as the World 7 Series, which is a popular event during the end of the year here in Cape Town, as well as recently the British and Irish Lions had to play with the Springboks behind closed doors. And usually this tour that comes once in every 12 years to South Africa usually sees a lot of tourists from Great Britain come to places like Cape Town. So they are suffering quite a bit. We heard from one of them earlier on saying that, in as much as they are suffering, they are seeing quite a large influx of people starting to open their businesses. They do rent here at Green Market Square. And although they have so many other businesses, around 200 people have their own stands here, not a lot of them are making much business. And they are saying that during the hard lockdown, they had to shut down and then they had to reopen. And since they have reopened, they are operating from Monday to Saturday, and they are hardly seeing much of an income. And they are asking for the president to have a bit of leniency in terms of a lot of the other stuff that they are requesting. They also want to have some sort of funding so that they can make up for the lost money that they've lost throughout the course of the lockdown. They're also saying that, in as much as a lot of them are not from South Africa, they belong to South Africa, because a lot of the people who operate here are from all over the African continent. So what they are saying to us here is that they want to see more of the economic recovery that has been promised by the Western Cape government. We do know that David Mania, the Finance and Economic Opportunities MEC, also promised to at least endorse the small businesses, because he knows that through small business more employment will be created. But those are the conversations that we'll be having throughout the course of the morning. We will also be speaking to the entertainment industry, which has also been hardest hit, and also tourism, as well as the wine industry throughout the course of the day.
All right, Ronald, quite important points you're making there. I suppose the easing and hardening of lockdown, not consistent, not sustainable there for small businesses. I'll leave you to it, of course, to track for the entire day. Nqobile Madlala and Ronald Masinda, thank you so much for that.